First, let me clarify some of my points before. So that's why I started with what is the definition of religion? If we are speaking about religion as a personal faith or personal rituals confined within a certain space of ritual like church or mosque, kuil dan sebagainya, yeah, then certainly that is not a problem within a secular country. But as I have chose to pick one, I have elaborated that I think even in IR discussions, religion is much more than that. Religion is actually about identity. Religion is actually the civilization itself. So we can see that, yes, if I go to UK, of course, I can still pray in a mosque. But can I offer a new economic paradigm based on a paradigm that I subscribe to, which is not secularism, and ask it to be implemented in UK? I don't think it will happen. That's why I'm stating that we must first define what is religion. So that is the starting point of that should be the starting point of our discussion. So answering the question, practicing religion equals to extremism. So I think this is why when people like me speak my points before, people will normally equate what I said as a form of extremism itself. Because what I said is actually a trial atau satu percubaan to break the monopoly of secularism and modernism from being the sole product in the market of ideas, the market of paradigms in this world. So anyone who basically threaten or basically providing a challenge to secularism and modernism itself will be normally designated as extremists, regardless of their religion, whether they are Christians, whether they are whites, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Hindus, and all sorts of religions, I think. So we can see that this unipolar paradigm, I would say unipolar paradigm, meaning the hegemonic paradigm of secularism and modernism, why they are so powerful? Because they are guarded by big powers. They are managed through global institutions, and they are propagated through the method of globalization, well funded. So by doing all this, they controls the market of ideas. And they would only allow anything that is only compatible with secularism and modernism to be on the shelf in this market. So this is basically the thesis of Fukuyama in the end of history, even though his thesis is currently being criticized, I think, because the reality is not like that. The reality is that we as customers, kita sebagai manusia, bila kita masuk ke pasar, we want to have choice. And we want to make rational deliberations on what product should it consume. We don't want to be imposed with only one product. And apalagi apabila produk itu is just a product of an experience of a certain people coming from a certain country that is being imposed to people like us. Di Malaysia misalnya, kita lihat bagaimana akhirnya orang-orang yang dahulunya hidup dalam satu civilization yang tertentu dipaksa dengan civilization yang dibawa oleh colonials. Kita lihat di Uyghur, di Xinjiang misalnya, bagaimana di sana mereka, they have their own civilization, they have their own paradigm. But it is being attacked by the sole paradigm that is being supported and it's being subscribed by the Chinese government. And also the same thing in India, I think, and also in America and other places. So basically, the label of terrorism and extremism is being assigned to anyone doing that. What is it? Anyone trying to enter the market of ideas. Anyone trying to be a contender in the market of ideas, and not just the spirit of the practice of ritual or private religion, but I'm saying about paradigm, about how economy should work, how politics should work, how education should work, how development should work. Is there only one version of it? Why don't we have so many versions, and each version should prove their points through points, and not just being emotionally persistent on what is the end of history. So I think that is what is the essence of terrorism and extremism. Because if you are saying that terrorism and extremism is about doing violence, we can say that the same big power that is putting their fingers or yang menuduh orang lain sebagai teroris dan ekstremis ini is doing the same kind of violence. You can see that US is doing the same kind of violence in the Middle East. You can see that Israel is doing the same kind of violence in Palestine. You can see that China is doing the same kind of violence in Xinjiang. So if it is about violence, I think violence is just another mean of a failure of you to uphold your ideas through through cara yang lebih human. So you resort to violence, and basically it's not just those militant cells is doing it. Not just non-state actors is doing it. The state actors are also doing it, doing that, right? So it's not about violence actually. But of course, I'm not saying that we must allow violence to be happening. No, we must understand what is the issue being discussed here lah. So I think the narrative of terrorism and extremism is actually, to put it simply, is a plan to continuously kill other ideas in the world society. So you see that there are terrorist cells being planted. This is no longer a conspiracy theory. A lot of evidence is coming up, right? Which will trigger the action of violence. And then the medias controlled by the world tycoons will amplify the narrative. So in real world, violence, when you see in real world, violence by religious groups is mostly unaccepted by even people of that religion. For me, for example, sebagai contoh, kita orang Islam, kita juga tidak menyokong apa yang dilakukan oleh ISIS. Kita tidak menyokong apa yang dilakukan oleh puak-puak yang melakukan pembunuhan, killing civilians and bombing unnecessary places. So why does this terrorist groups being so vocal? Bagaimana mereka ini boleh dilihat begitu bising dan mendapat tempat spotlight, given spotlights in this international stage? So I think it is a planned narrative to put everyone in a frightened mood, to put a contending idea. So anyone who is contending idea will be simply put in the same basket with ISIS. So let's say I am proposing a new world system that is not the current world system adopted by PBB or adopted by US. In an idea, just an idea that I am proposing. So people like me will normally be grouped within the same basket like ISIS, because ISIS is also proposing another world system, but through violence. But me, I don't do any violence. So basically, I will be put in the same designation as a terrorist and extremist also in current setting or in current context. So I think for me, practicing religion is actually about allowing people or having a world where there is a system where people can live freely and healthily in an environment to explore which ideas, which paradigms, which worldviews that would satisfy truly their needs from all angles, not just physical needs, but also metaphysical needs. So it must be a world free of monopoly of knowledge, free of monopoly of power, free of monopoly by certain rules, by certain elites. So the elites, they are controlling the narrative of terrorism and extremism. I don't think in this current world we can have peace. I think that's my opinion. Thank you.